Joe W. Brister, and this is part 2 of our story about strife on the job. And this particular job was offshore. When you have really bad strife, sometimes it can be peaceful and talked out and you leave, and sometimes a bomb goes off. This was a bomb going off. So if you remember the story, we're offshore and trouble with a foreman. Nobody liked the foreman, smart for his work, not good people skills. And so I think we're all kind of kissed and made up from the past. And I can't find my welding partner, find him upstairs, and he's packing his bags, and he's all mad, cussing, carrying on. He said, that old so-and-so just fired me, and all the other hands are mad because he got fired. And they're already mad at this guy. So there was already a lot of tension on the job. So because me and him had this little sweetie puss conversation out there on the handrails, I thought I would go up there and be the peacemaker. Blessed are the peacemakers, okay? And I never had been a peacemaker before. So maybe I didn't do it too good. I don't know. So I go upstairs. I go in that radio room where he's at, and he's on the radio and he's calling for a helicopter to come out here and get my buddy. And he gets off that helicopter and he's looking at me, and I said, what's going on here, Wimpy? I said, Herman's up there and says you fired him, and da-da-da-da. And I said, you know, the job's almost done. We're going to be done here in a day or two. I said, we need to get along. This is what he told me. He comes back to me and he says, no, we don't. No, we don't. He said, I have been mad ever since I saw you two hit my job. He says, like one is in one pocket and one's in the other, and you're both squeezing my testicles, and I've had enough of it. And I said, really? He said, yeah, really. And he said, if you don't like it, you can go too. To which I responded, you know, that seems like a good idea to me. I said, he said, well, I'll just fire you, and you can get a helicopter too. I said, well, you can't do it standing here talking about it. I said, turn around and go on that radio and make another reservation. And I was going for the door, and I said, and while you're at it, make one for my helper too. Because in those days, the helper went with the welder. Didn't even ask any questions. I tell him we're leaving, we're leaving. So we're all packing. We go upstairs, and all these welders stopped welding. And it was like a mob scene. Everybody hears what's happening. They come in there. What's going on? Well, this happened, this happened. Let me tell you this. Within 15 minutes, there were 9 welders quit and their helpers. 9. Now, when you bring somebody in from offshore on helicopter rides, it's pretty expensive. And when he found that out, he couldn't believe it. And he'd already been told not to fire anybody else because he was costing him too much money. But he did. He had to get 2 Huey helicopters. I believe it was 2, maybe a partial flight, to get everybody inland. But everybody stuck together. Everybody stuck together. And that's what I'm hearing from you guys is different today. And we stuck together, and guess what? We won. I'm Joe W. Brister. That's Tip.